Hey everybody, could I have your attention please? So we're gonna be getting started relatively soon, but now would be the best time for you to think about using the bathroom because that is something we won't do during the session. And so the last few people are trickling in, and this would be your ideal moment. And if the line gets really long, there's a secret bathroom through this way I can show you as well. Okay, hey everybody. I think we're gonna kind of get started. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Edward, and I'm here kind of helping with setup and logistics and all the other things that happen in this space, and can help if anything comes up for any of you. So I've had the unique opportunity of getting to be with Asil through a lot of the years of his journey and development, and so I've gotten to watch him grow into this pretty extraordinary role and gift that he's able to give, and you'll get to be with today. How many of you are here for the first time? Just out of curiosity. That is amazing. Okay. Well, thank you and welcome. Thanks for coming. So I think you've all kind of found your seats. Just the goal is to kind of be comfortable. If you're able to sit up straight, that's great. If you want to lie down, that's great. If you do decide to lie down, the invitation is to lie actually with your head facing the front as opposed to the other way. Let's see here. And also in the setups that you have, please kind of keep to your own space more than kind of cuddling even with loved ones that are here, so that we can all be in our own fields here. I will ask all of you if you will be willing to take out your phone and look at it and assess whether or not it is able to make noise. And don't think that just because you think you already did it, you're exempt. But we want everybody to have their phones all the way off, not just airplane mode, just off, and so they are totally silent during the session. And I will wait for you to do that. How are we doing? Okay. All of the work, I'll just say we just got back from a trip that we were doing in the Middle East, including Iraq and UAE and a few places to do kind of work with the land, and we'll meet with groups over there. And we're going to be actually headed to Eastern Europe in March, through places like Bosnia and Serbia and Croatia. And all the work we do in these sessions and on these trips is supported by contributions like you made tonight, and also generous donations from other people who support the work. So thank you so much for coming. It helps us do what we do. And if you're interested in learning more about some of the sort of the retreats and the mission work that we also do in terms of working with sacred sites and sites of trauma all over the world, then we'd be happy to talk to you about that. It's places that Asil's been over the last few months, like Iran, Saudi, UAE, Turkey, Israel, Palestine, Iraq, and Syria. The alignment is not just for people; it's for the land as well, and that supports the practices of all the people and all the folks who live in those regions. And so the work that Asil does has evolved out of a variety of spiritual traditions that he's practiced over the last 18 years. And that kind of culminated about 4 years ago when he had a really profound spiritual experience that opened up this connection that today he refers to as the channel. And this kind of connection enables both powerful energy and wisdom that during the sessions kind of come through him and embody, and he will actually bring into the room for all of our benefit. And so the space will provide a way for you to kind of go deep into your own meditation, and you'll start to be able to receive in that way. And you may feel some kind of energetic transmission. You may actually hear words or things like that. You may have some images come up, things like that, that are partly as a result of being in this space and connecting with the same guides. So if you haven't seen someone like Asil channeling before, you might not expect that there's sometimes some very spontaneous sort of body movements, and his hands and arms might be moving quite a lot. He might shake his head, things like that. Sometimes it can be quite vigorous, but you should know that he's totally fine, and it's actually totally normal, and they take very good care of him. And so just be aware of that. And you should also know that his everyday human Asil consciousness is going to be available to him the whole session. So he's not gone, and if a phone rings or if something needs to be attended to, he's still there, and he can kind of pop out of the trance if he needs to, if he so chooses. So the channel that he connects to is going to bring through guides that will introduce themselves with what they say, what they describe as the names that humanity has given them. And so you might recognize some of these names from different kinds of Judeo-Christian traditions or other historical traditions. They all are much older than the traditions themselves, so they kind of picked a name at some point and it stuck, and that's what they refer themselves to. But they don't necessarily ever refer to themselves as angels or archangels. That's a term that humanity has created. So Asil has been sharing this work here in the Bay and all over the world, and also today we're going to be, through this camera and a couple others, we'll be live streaming. So there's other watch parties going on in different places. And let's see here. So there's essentially three parts of the work. The first is going to be a kind of healing session where Asil will be doing kind of an energetic alignment or healing session for folks in the room. And you're welcome to invite others into the space that you think would benefit from this kind of work. And he may or may not, depending on what's going on in the space, be called to move around and kind of do some hands-on work with some people in the space. Let's see here. Even if someone else is receiving a healing right near you, or if or something exciting is going on the other side of the room, do what you can to really stay with your own space and your own process, because even if he's over there, you don't really know what's going. There might be guides, quite vigorously working with you directly in where you're sitting. So once the healing portion is complete, then he will often begin a spoken transmission from often Emmanuel, and after Emmanuel gives this spoken transmission, Emmanuel will often invite questions. And so if you'd like to ask a question, just raise your hand and get my attention, and I'll kind of manage the queue of questions and bring the microphone over for you when it's your turn to speak. So when asking the questions, think about really asking some of your deepest questions and keep them succinct. You wouldn't believe how much information these guides have access to, so they don't necessarily need to hear a whole preamble or a whole story about what's going on for you. They can quite easily obtain all the information they need, but direct their attention with a specific question. And sometimes very personal questions won't get the most satisfying answers. So if you ask, what job I should get, or what kind of car I should get, or things like that, they often won't answer something like that very directly. They're kind of calibrating their answers for the benefit of everyone in the room, but that doesn't mean that they can't see your situation quite directly. And additionally, a lot of people find in the kind of meditative state, they can even ask questions to themselves silently and receive answers. So you might as well try that. So we are, as I mentioned, recording audio and video of the event, and both a video and a transcript will be made available to everyone for free following the session. And please don't create your own recordings today. Let's see here. So bathrooms, has everyone used the bathroom that needed to? Yeah, good. I'm going to ask that everybody stay in your place and in your seat throughout the duration of the healing session completely, and ideally through the entirety of the session if you can. but do your best to not use the restroom during the healing session. Let's see here, and yeah, when the session is over, don't kind of fall immediately into chit chat. Just sort of stay with the silence and stay relaxed, and then there'll be some kind of closing statements that we make, and we'll kind of go from there. Does anyone have any questions that have come up? All right. Okay, thank you so much for coming. It's our honor and pleasure to have you here, and please enjoy yourself.
Good evening, everyone. You could have been anywhere tonight, and fate brought us together, or your choices, however you want to see it. In my experience, spiritual development is a progress. It requires dedication, devotion, surrender, over and over again. And sometimes the progress feels slow, or even like making backward steps. And yet, there's a driving force that keeps us going. So with this driving force that is intrinsically in all of us, I invite you to tap into that. What is the driving force that is continuously pushing you for evolution? In the space that is created there will be continuously energy flowing into the space, and it might feel like waves that are coming through. And try to see if you can sense these waves, or if you can even catch the waves. Ideally, we will together get to a place where space, time, and identity dissolves. I'm also excited to see that many people from around the world have joined. Some of them gotten up at 4 a.m. to be present. That's dedication. So, thank you for being here, and blessings on this journey. Greetings. I'm Raphael. The work that you're about to receive is intended to be a support on your development. Your development as an individual, a development and to support the self-realization journey of you. Only the continuous development of the individual will truly make the difference in the human consciousness evolution. You are the key, not your actions, not your thoughts, not your physical representation, yet truly the connection to the divine in its full expression through you. This work will impact all of you in different ways. And while it might be subtle for some, the effects will show as your consciousness evolves and the obstacles to be faced are easier. The challenges, though, will never be taken away. They will be yours to face. With a connection to the divine and to your innermost core, all challenges of life will become easier to be observed, to be witnessed, and to be overcome. The time and the effort is for you to take on. Life, as it unfolds in front of you, will always provide different priorities. Yet you must choose, or the challenges will choose for you. Thank you for receiving this work. Thank you for receiving this work. My work is complete. Greetings, my name is Emmanuel. As you have witnessed your life change and become more conscious of your own journey, you have judged the way you have been, the choices you have made, the choices you have not made. The life that you have lived has brought you here, and this is the most important realization, that only the moment of this current existence truly carries importance and value, as here, in this very moment, is the entirety of your power, your connection, your willpower. All aspects of the past have served a purpose. There were moments before this one. Decisions and choices have been made. Either way, your judgments of the past will not serve you. Embracing all aspects of your past that have brought you to who you are today will serve you to be more present. Many individuals live lives in the past. Many live their lives in the future, or escaping the mistakes of the past by the projected future in front of them. The past becomes the limiting factor of the future. The judgments of the past reduce the potential of the moments ahead. The true unfolding of the moments in front of you. As you embrace the truth that your past was exactly the way it was meant to be, that your past served a specific purpose with many lessons for you to become who you are today. You will start to see the many variations and the openings that the future will bring, as the judgments of the past and the attachments of the past will resolve. You are exponential beings, unlimited potential in your existence. Yet you must be the one aware of this truth. Being told from an outside party will never have the same influence as truly knowing inside. Our work is targeted for you individually to come to realizations of this kind, to start embracing the power and the beauty of your existence, to truly allowing the connections of the divine become part of your conscious existence. This light of creation that surrounds all of existence is continuously available to you. Unlimited, unconditional love. The only limitations, the mind, the obstacles of the heart, and the misalignments of the body. All of these aspects can be addressed. And you can start to understand that you are part of a greater existence. In its greatest form, fueling all of existence with the unconditional love of creation. We are blessed to see many generations, many civilizations, and many iterations of human existence to evolve, to thrive, to learn, and to go through the evolutions that you have, never with judgment, and very few interventions, and to truly allow human consciousness to come to its realizations itself. And mistakes, challenges are part of this growth and evolution. This is an important time in human history. The evolution of consciousness will determine the fate of humanity. And in this critical time of your existence, we have agreed to assist and to intervene in ways that will allow you to come to realizations faster, to make the steps of your evolution easier. This is our offering and our vow to your evolution. Thank you for listening to my words. I will now answer some of your questions.
Good evening. This is kind of a strange question, I think, but it's a two-part question. One, is black magic real? And what can you do if somebody is using it against you?
Beyond your perception of the physical realm, the energetic and spiritual realm has its own rules, its own physics. Some individuals have understood and the laws and the rules of other planes, as well as the ability to communicate with non-material existence of various planes. Not every individual, not every tradition has kept its pure intent. Conflicting interests, conflicting agendas of the individual human mind have caused this knowledge to be utilized against other individuals. All with their righteous reasoning. There are many individuals capable of manipulating and communicating in non-material existence to benefit individuals, to benefit humanity, as well as to harm. While we observe occurrences of this kind and intervene in certain cases, for you as an individual, the key and the most important aspect of your understanding that in your most aligned state you are protected and connected continuously. This alignment is your responsibility, the alignment of your body, of your mind, of your heart, and of your energetic spiritual body. The alignment of all those together will allow you to be resistant to any outside influence, for you to allow to operate in this reality and to learn and to grow. Rarely individuals will have to face extreme cases of what you consider black magic. In certain cases, there will be specialized answers. Thank you for your question.
How can we consciously evolve ourselves and others in the most impactful way?
Take the time necessary for your evolution. Understand in which ways your mind and your mental constructs are in the way. Your heart and your emotional constructs are in the way. And make sure that your physical body is able to hold you through this time of exploration. This is a conscious effort. It requires prioritization within your life. And in certain cases, you might see small or slow progress, and yet understand this is the key to your evolution. And you assisting the evolution that happens inside of you organically will make you an example of the evolution of mankind. Thank you for your question.
How much more of humanity needs to evolve before we take our next step in evolution?
You are seeking a specific answer. Consciousness operates in gradients. Humanity's evolution, the individual's evolution, is in multiple stages. Certain individuals will never reach the highest stages of self-realization. Other individuals will reach those states and assist humanity in this way. The exact numbers vary depending on how individuals and how far they can go. Yet, as you have recognized, there is a threshold that must be reached in order to allow human consciousness to lift into a higher existence. This will require more work on an individual level as well as on a collective level. Thank you for your question.
What's the point of life and death?
To experience life, to understand its limitations, to understand that it's in its limited to understand that in its limited format, the beauty lies in understanding every single moment, understanding that at some point this life will end, finding even deeper appreciation for all the moments that are in front of you and all the moments that have passed. Life and death allows you to experience a single individual personality, identity, specific relationships. And upon death, the clearing of these relationships and of the understanding of the past allows for a new soul to enter and re-experience life in its full potential, in a different setting, in different environments and different relationships, again and again. Every single experience and every single lifetime becomes then a pool of experiences for human consciousness to observe and to learn, to understand itself and to understand the beauty of creation. You are part of this system. Your experience is part of the evolution of human consciousness. Every experience you have is learning, is wisdom, and is realization through the eyes of your identity, of your perspective. Thank you for your question.
Is our current model of monogamous relationship and partnership and nuclear family supporting evolution, or is there another model?
All forms of relationships support evolution. Each relationship will have its limitations. Each form of exploration will bring benefits to the individual or to society. And in this continuous dance of understanding, experimenting, and appreciating the beauties of various relationship forms, humanity learns. And this learning, this realization, is the evolution itself. Our perspectives on which relationships potentially might serve humanity's growth faster become irrelevant. We observe and we see in which ways humanity adjusts to its environment, in which ways it understands where its consciousness is driving and seeking for exploration and expansion. This is the way it has always been, and this is the way it will be until the end of this physical existence. Thank you for your question.
Hi, this is more a personal question, although I think some people may find themselves in the same situation. So I've been, in a way, having a side project in mind, almost a small dream that I haven't executed about. And in a way, I know that this is close to my heart and can make a difference to people. But I feel in a way scared to do that. It feels too big sometimes. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm the one to do that. So my question is this what I'm supposed to do? Or is this like my purpose in a way? How can I clarify that?
No external party can give you purpose in life. The purpose of your existence must arise from the work that you have done internally. A confidence, a connection to the divine that supports you in every step forward, where you understand the visions and the dreams that you have will be supported, will be assisted, and that this path feels right. It feels aligned in your own being. With this confidence, you act and you move forward. You make adjustments and you learn. And you reassess with yourself if this is still the right direction every single day. It will come down to your connection and to your trust in your connection and understanding that you and your connection to the divine are one and the same. It is part of you as you're discovering yourself and you find trust in your eternal existence. This will allow you, consciously and subconsciously, to give you the confidence to move forward. We will refrain from giving individuals our perspectives on their lives and the way they should live, or which experiences they should have. We perceive the important elements and projects of humanity's evolution and growth, yet you perceive those as well. Your heart, your eyes, and your mind are capable of seeing what the current state of your existence in human form requires the most. Can you step into this? That will become a question for you to answer. Thank you for your question.
What is the role of psilocybin mushrooms for the individual and the collective species?
On this physical plane of existence, many clues, many support mechanisms have been left by civilizations that have been evolved much further and observed humanity's evolution. Some of these forms of support are embedded in the plant kingdoms. Support of consciousness, the expansion of consciousness, and the exploration of existence beyond the human consciousness. These plants, these individual forms of consciousness support humanity's evolution, yet understand there is no requirement for individuals to evolve. The requirements are to find peace and silence inside of you and to observe what needs to be observed in your mind, in your heart, and in your body. First steps. Continuous evolution and exploration with the assistance of plants. Is an aspect we cannot give an exact opinion and judgment on. It has served humanity in many ways. It has served the individuals in many ways. And it has brought difficulties as well. Challenges for individuals concerning experiences that are hard to comprehend, hard to process. Experiences with energies that they are not ready to face, yet have faced. The potential and the openings are limitless with some assistance of these plants. And we recommend caution and exploring with others that have, for centuries, generations, understood these particular openings. This is our perspective. Thank you for your question.
From the live stream, Agnes asks, what is the most important thing to do in one's life?
Realize this is the single most important thing. Experiences, perspectives, judgments are not realizations. A realization requires a moment to observe the experience in all perspectives, on all angles. And consciousness will start to formulate a realization around this experience. Every realization will add to the realizations of human consciousness and will continue to lift the individual to experiences necessary for the next larger realization. Often realizations will include perspectives about oneself, oneself's connection to the divine, to all of existence. This is their self-realization journey. The single most important thing to do is therefore finding the time, assigning the time for these realizations to occur. Thank you for your question.
Has mankind done too much damage to our planet, or do we have the chance to save ourselves?
Our perspectives about your existence is different than yours. We perceive human consciousness in its entirety, and it's in its continuous growth. We understand the next stage that is ready for human consciousness. This next stage of human consciousness existence is not in physical form. The necessity and the attachment that you have to this one single home that you have understood to be the place of your existence is understandable. Yet, the time of your incubation is almost complete, and therefore understand that still living on this planet, understanding your relationship with all beings, understanding, addressing the difficulties that you have created for yourself in unity, these are important realizations to be had as a collective, and they will be part of the final stages of humanity's realizations. Even though the time on this physical plane is coming to its completion, it is important to understand in which way these realizations must be had and which solutions will still assist all of mankind to grow and to learn. All efforts are valid and important. Thank you for your question.
For those in the geriatric population, with those, especially those with Alzheimer's and dementia, what can we do to help them raise their consciousness level before they pass? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. The care that you carry in your heart makes the difference, not just for them in your presence, but for all those that experience you as an individual that cares. Ultimately, it will come down to your presence and your assistance in their most important and final moments. The time that is still left for an individual, no matter its visible consciousness state, is an important time of finalizing realizations, of finalizing a lifetime. and completions. For you, or anyone that chooses to hold space for these final, most important realizations as an act of service that is not for the individual alone, yet for the entire collective, as these realizations will become part of the realizations of the collective. You see, the connections to every single individual impact the collective. Thank you for your question.
Is my own constant attention, awareness of self-love and self-compassion the fastest way to transcend fears and negativity and difficult karma?
Yes, it is. And the fastest ways is not always the necessary way for everyone. Slow ways can also be important, explorative ways where the results are not immediately clear. Experimentation is part of human consciousness. Yet, there are certain constants. One of the constants that you have mentioned is the love that flows through every single existence. This love of creation, the life force of creation. This is part of you. You can choose to direct this energy towards yourself as a form of unconditional self-love. You can choose to direct this energy to others as a form of unconditional love to your environment. Every single moment that you realize this infinite potential that is continuously feeding you and your existence will allow you to expand, will allow you to realize, and will allow others around you to realize faster. Thank you for your question.
What are healthy ways for children and adults to express anger?
Anger is a natural part of the many senses and emotions that you have been provided with. Yet in this society, and in the current form, anger has become reduced and unacceptable. Finding ways for safe expression becomes an important aspect to understand the underlying aspects of the anger itself. Often it is a sadness, a disconnect, an internal misalignment, a feeling of abandonment, a feeling of misunderstanding. The anger becomes the protector of the sadness. It becomes the enforcer, and to be heard and to be listened to. And now, humanity has found ways to suppress that particular guardian and protector. As you can see, many layers need to be peeled to understand the underlying effect that has resulted in the anger in the first place. And finding ways for safe expression will remain for you to find and explore in your society's creativity. Thank you for your question.
How to understand which relations should be left and which relations should be worked on?
The fine balance. At which point does the individual understand that the current situation that it's facing is not evolving? It requires a deep internal reflection to understand how this situation, the relationship in front of you, is assisting you in your evolution and is assisting the other person in their evolution. If you see the continuity of expansion, growth, if you see the continuity of learning and realization through the exchanges of the other, you see progress. This will be the pointers for you to decide in which way the relationships must be chosen. Yet understand, the choices will be yours, yet the realizations will return in other forms, in other relationships. Certain realizations cannot be omitted by changing relationship. Thank you for your question.
From the live stream, Chris asks, is human consciousness an artificial creation?
Human consciousness was seeded by other intelligent forms. And while consciousness creates and expands in many different ways and forms across all of existence, humanity particularly was seeded on this particular plane. The evolution and the expansion of human consciousness in the human form remained under particular and specific rules of non-intervention to observe in which ways human consciousness will grow. Rules were established for re-entering the human experience, for allowing other souls and soul containers from other forms of consciousness to experience the human form. In their experience, the human consciousness will grow as well. This interplay and this continuous growth has become an important aspect of consciousness evolution, not just of human consciousness. You are a divine creation, just like we are divine creations. All your environment are divine creations. The air you breathe, the soil that you walk on, the stars that you see are part of divine creations. Which part becomes organic and which part becomes artificial? It is a matter of perspective. Thank you for your question. Thank you for receiving this work. Thank you for walking this path. Your awakening will become the awakening of many others.
Everybody. So as the seal is starting to come back to the space, feel free to take as much time as you need to stay in a quiet space, to stay with yourself, to stay in meditation as long as you like. For some of you, the process may be quite strong, and if that's you, just allow whatever to be moving through to continue to move. If it's not you, take care that others might be still in a process, and so don't just jump into chit-chat with them. Tomorrow you'll be receiving an email with suggestions on how to integrate anything that might have come up for you, or just helpful feedback and advice for people who are finishing a session like this one. So thank you. And a lot of people ask, how can we help support this work? Some of the simplest things you can do are things like just telling your friends about this, liking our page on Facebook, and then other things is you can learn how to talk to us and get more involved, and potentially go on a retreat, or come to other events like this, or help put on live stream events for your friends. Additionally, any donations to our 501c3 to support the Eastern Europe Sacred Sites mission work is very, very helpful, and we'd be appreciative of that. Additionally, there's a retreat coming up in the springtime for a group of about 30 to go to 20 or 30 sacred sites all over Greece, which could be quite extraordinary for anyone that can attend. And Crystal, if you're curious about that, can give you more information about the Greece retreat. She's running that. And additionally, you should know that we have just put the finishing touches on a book of Seal's channelings, and that's going to be available on Amazon in the next couple days or so. We literally just hit upload today, so that's fun. It'll be both digital and paper version. So if you're interested in kind of learning more and getting an overview of this, of the work and the messages from the guides, that'll be a good source. Let's see here. Also, you should know that we will be back here in this very space in a little under a month from now on February 19th. And that'll also be a Wednesday evening at the same time. Additionally, we are going to be going to do our first session in one of the first, maybe not the first, I'm not sure, might be the first session in Los Angeles on February 10th in the morning, in the morning on a weekday. So if you want to attend that, you're welcome to, or you have friends in Los Angeles that might be interested, you can tell them. That will be on the tail end of something called the Conscious Life Expo, which we will be attending as well. And it's like a 4-day kind of conference on spirituality. And let's see here. What other cool stuff can we talk about? Yeah, so just in a couple days, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, something like that, you'll get a notification about the transcript from this evening, and the video will be posted of this quite quickly. So take it easy for the rest of the evening, and take it easy for tomorrow if you can, to just go slow. And as I said, we'll be back here on February 19th and Los Angeles on the 10th of February. Thank you all so much for coming, and thank you, Aaron and Gabriel, for the sound. Thank you to the venue that's making this available to us at an extraordinary way. And thank you all for coming. Thank you, Asil. Yeah, that's what we got.
Thank you, Edward. Something very special happens if we are in a collective and we go beyond identity, and we go beyond all the preconceived notions of who we are, what we are, who we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to relate to each other. Or we're just going on this journey together. And there is really something magical that happens if we're able to surrender and go to that level of depth. The more you can have experiences like that, I can guarantee you, it'll shape your life. It'll shape your relationships. Thank you for being here, for coming, for being on this journey. And I hope our paths cross again. I'll be here a little bit longer to give free hugs.